So we're holding Daf Chav Gimel Moed Aleph. Daf Chav Gimel Moed Aleph, where we start the wide lines. Daf Chav Gimel Aleph with the wide lines. Tana Rabbanan. Discussing Shiva, and now we're going to discuss a little bit Shloshim, and then back to Shiva, back and forth. We know that there's a different lachas. We discussed already the first 3 days, and then there's 7 days, and then there's a Shloshim, the 30 days. Then the 30 days, there's a certain in Nevelos. Everyone is considered an oval, a mourner, by the first 30 days. After the first 30 days, if someone loses a spouse, a velos is over. For a parent, the velos is 12 months. For a child, I believe the same. Don't know. But for a spouse, it's only 30 days. And here the Gemara is going to discuss when, the first piece of the Gemara is going to discuss after what period can a person get married in Navelos. We have either a single guy that never was married before. When can you get? Someone passes away.
Didn't we discuss
we
that?
We touched upon it, yeah. And then we have a guy that was married and has children, or a guy that his wife passed away and he wants to get remarried. What are the different timelines when he can get remarried? Tana Rabbanan, Kol Shloishim Yoim Lenisuim. When someone sits Shiva and then it has to sit Shloishim, so the first 30 days he cannot get married. Nisuim, we're talking about the second part of marriage, and the Gemara times marriage was split in two. There was the Kedushin, the Idusin part, and then it was the Nisuin part, or the Chuppah, where they said the Blachas under the Chuppah, etc., and then they would live together. So the first 30 days after someone passes away in his immediate family, a person cannot do the second part, which is Chuppah, the Blachas, and then living together. So Kol Shloishim Yom Nisuin. This is one case. Another case, he was married already, and his wife passed away. So, in a simple case, we're talking about a wife passed away. In the first one, we're talking about a case, wife passed away, he has older kids. There's no necessary need for his kids to have someone taking care of him. He has kids. So, if his wife passed away, also Lisa Isha Acheres, he's not allowed to marry another woman. Until 3 Yom Tovim pass over, basically, until 3 Yom Tovim pass by. Which to the longest time period, it's about 7 months, right? If someone passes away before Sukkot, Pesach is 6 months, Shavuos is another month and a half, so 7.5, 8 months. Although there are some people that would argue that Shlosh Golim could mean also the Shoshanim and Kippur. Shoshanim Kippur is also considered the Yontif. It's not considered part of the Shlosh Golim, but it is a Yontif. So maybe the 3 Yontif, when we say here, we don't mean it literally the 3 Yom Tovim. The 3 festivals could mean any Yom Tov. So Shana would be 1 day, Yom Kippur would be Yom Tov 2, and Sukkot would be Yom Tov 3. Some people say even more. Sukkot is split in 2 because Sukkot has one part of the Yom Tov, and the last day is the second part of the Yom Tov. So technically Yom Kippur would be Yom Tov number 1. First days of Sukkot is Yom Tov number 2. Last days of Sukkot is Yom Tov number 3, and technically in a period of less than a month, the guy could get remarried. But in any case, let's assume it's the longest period, and the longest period is from it has 3 Shalosh Regalim, Sukkot, Pesach, and Shavuos have to pass through, and that is when a person can get married, to take another wife. What is the reasoning behind it? So the Tosfos says, At Shiyavu Shalosh Regalim, on top it says, At Shiyu Shalosh Regalim, B'lei Simcha, B'lei Yishkach Ahavas Ishto. He has to go through 3 Yom Tovim that he is not going to enjoy as much as he would if he would have a wife. And he should basically not forget the love that they had to each other. That's one reason. Inami says there's another reason because that when you marry another woman, you shouldn't think about the first one. So let a full 7-8 months go by, and we know that the Gzeda Minames Shtakach Minalev, that the Gzeda made a decree that the dead will be forgotten, would slowly be forgotten more and more, and so in this case also, he will eventually, when he gets remarried, he won't think about his first wife. And another Pshat Tosfos says is a similar thing, that he wouldn't harass his second wife, saying, "Oh, my first wife did so and so." He's gonna remember the love he had to his first wife, and he's gonna harass the second wife. And the Taisus finishes off with an interesting thing, because the Gemara says, Vaita, the Buddha says, you don't have to wait 3 Yom Tovim, 2 Yom Tovim is enough. We know a general rule that when it comes to Avelus, we go Ladas Hamakilim, we go according to the most lenient rule. So accordingly, we should paskin like Rabbi Yehuda, that he can get married after 2. And Taisa says, no, that's not true, because here we're not talking about Avelus anymore, because Avelus after a spouse finishes after 30 days. So we're not talking about that, and we don't agree with Rabbi Yehuda, and we go according to the Tanakama. Although I believe in nowadays it's not really done this way. I didn't get to the bottom of it. Okay, so let me holding the third line from the wide line. Sorry?
What's you saying? La halacha, this is not how it is today.
La halacha, I don't think that's the way it is. I think after 30 days, everything finishes, and basically you can go on. But here, the Gemara is going to give 2 exceptions. And again, I didn't go all the way to the end of it. It could be I'm wrong. So here, Abidu Ayman, not 3 Yom Tovim, regular Rishon V'Sheni also. The first Yom Tovim, yes, you have to wait. A Shlishi, once the 3rd Yom Tov comes, okay, before the 3rd Yom Tov, you can get married already. Mutal. Now, here's an exception. If he doesn't have any kids, so he was not Mekayim, the mitzvah of Pili of Olivia, he still has to have kids. Mutal Isa Alta, you can get married after Shiva is over. During Shiva. Alta right away. The Alta L'Tshuva, Alta L'Gula, right away. So here we're talking obviously not right away, because he can't get married during Shiva, but it means getting married after Shiva. Because otherwise he would be mevatel the mitzvah, the first mitzvah in the Torah, to multiply. If the wife passes away and she left behind very young kids, mutalisa la'alta is allowed to marry also right away after the Shiva. In order to sustain the little kids, they need a mother to feed them. They need a motherly figure to take care of them, so he can marry another woman. And the Gemara brings proof of a ma'isa. The wife of Yosef HaKohen passed away. He was a Kohen, and therefore he was limited in who he can even get married to. He can't get married to a Gelusha or a Chalutza, to a divorcee, and someone that the husband passed away, and that the brother was Choyletz. He has to marry to a Lamona or a Psula. So therefore he turned to his sister-in-law, turned to the sister of his wife, in the Beis HaKvadas. And he told her in such a lashon, L'chi ufanesi es bnei achoisach. Go and sustain and feed the children of your sister. Meaning, we are going to get married. I need your help. We're going to get married. And the Gemara finishes in the story of Afal Pikein Leibo Aleh Alizman Beduba. He actually didn't consummate the marriage until a long time. He actually did wait 30 days. So Nisui in the marriage part, he could do after Shiva. Finishing the marriage, that not. So basically here, the Gemara is saying here that if you never had any kids, then after Shiva you can get married and you can do you know what you need to do. But if you have little kids, according to the story, you have to wait. However, the halacha, they say that if you have little kids, they bring down the fun. The Me'ida brings down that you can get married and live a normal life of husband and wife after the Shiva right away. And in Tosfos of Amar Achoisa, he brings that actually it's not, because it sounds like from the story that he turned to his sister-in-law in the Beis HaKvadas. The body was still warm and says, we're getting married tonight. That's not the case, because we said already we cannot get married during Shiva, so they have to wait till after Shiva. Okay. Sagt the Gemara. So the Gemara says weiter. Tana Rabbanan, Kashleishim 6.5 in the bottom. Kashleishim legiutz. 30 days of the Avelus, you cannot do giutz. This is not, in Hebrew, giutz means ironing. This is not ironing. Ironing is different in this case, but this is some kind of starching where you make the clothing very, you wash it in a different way than a regular kibbutz, than a regular washing, and it would give it a nice new fresh look, which is technically ironing, which ironing does, but they did it differently those days. And it was
if you starch your shirt,
right?
When you tell them to add starch, the pocket stays closed.
I remember when I was in Shiva, there was a guy who wanted to sue a bacher because he went and opened up his pocket, and he got so upset because he paid 25 cents to starch it closed.
Yeah.
So this was a kind of starching situation. Some people say the word is not giutz, it's gichutz. In any case, and it's interesting because the Ritva was it some other edition says all these things when it's a hard word. It says how it says in Arabic. So go look in Arabic. It's not can't figure it out. I have to ask. I don't have any Palestinian friends, so I couldn't ask them. Anyway, it's talking about shleishim called shleishim legiyot.
All Gracie mentioned.
Yeah. Or why? So 30 days you cannot do this deep washing, this deep cleaning, this deep making your clothes look nice. We're talking about new garments, or old garments that are going out from a press. This would be the ironing. So basically, new garments you cannot go through this entire process, and old garments that you take out from a press to make it look new. It's not covered that if you're sitting shiva, if you're an oval, to walk around with brand new clothing as if you're not mourning, if you're not sad. It almost looks like you don't care. That is the reasoning why you cannot wear this new clothing. Rabbi says, the oslu elo. Rabbi says, the oslu elo kelim chadoshim. So the Tanakhama says you can't wear anything. The Rabbi says no, only new clothing. New garments, you cannot do the giyuts, you cannot make it look starchy and everything. But old garments, yes, no problem. Only new, and not stam new, white clothing. And you'll see soon the difference in Ashkenazim and Sfaradim Taka, they have a difference in that. Bilvat, Abaye nofik begada the Sarbala. Abaye walked out during the Shloshim, he walked around with a new garment that with an old garment that was washed and starched and everything. Why? Kerebi said that only a new garment you cannot walk out with, but an old garment that was made look new, you could. Rava walked out b'chimutza domisa with a cloak, like a long, like a chaluk, like a long coat. Domisa from Rome, sumkata, red, chadati new. He walked out with a new red coat, so white new you can't, but red new you could. Now they say in the Meforshim say that whenever there's a machloikas, whenever there's a Abai and Dav, they go together. The halacha is always like a dava. Halacha is always like a dava. Interestingly, in the Sikha around, I believe Chavdalet, the Maimah of Basalagan, that Sikha, Motzei Shabbos Chavdalet, Rabbi discusses the difference why the Alter Rebbe in Tanya brings down that Rabba said a joke before learning, and the Bat Rabbanan to open up their minds. When we look in Gemara and looking everywhere, it's really Dava, not Rabba. And they explained that the difference between the Bai learning a Bai and the Dava. But here the halacha is like not the Bai and Dava, Dava and Rabba. But here the halacha is according to Dava, and so therefore technically, as long as it's not new and it's not white, we're good. And the paskin tak accordingly, the Moed Katan and Salul with more machmir. That's for if you're sitting shiva for a father and mother, you cannot buy any new clothing for 12 months. The Sfadim have a thing that after the Shloshim, once the first Yontif hits, you can wear anything, but before that, you cannot wear new white clothing. New white clothing. That's the Sfadim paskin like that, but they are more mekom. Okay. We finished this. The Gemara says the Mishnah a couple pages ago was speaking about the differences between Shabbos and Yontif. That when someone starts sitting Shiva, we discussed if someone starts sitting Shiva on, let's say, Thursday, so Thursday will be day number 1, Friday day number 2, Shabbos is day number 3. Even though Shabbos, we don't do any hilchas of avelus. It's oila, it's counted as part of the Shiva. Ve'enam afsekas, it doesn't cut off the Shiva. But Yontif is not counted as part of the Shiva, which basically means if someone passes away during Yontif, that's not day number 1, you have to start after Yontif. There's Mafsekas that if you start sitting Shiva a couple days before Yontif and Yontif comes, it cuts off the Shiva and you don't have to continue the Shiva. And the Gemara says, Shabbos oila ve'enam afsekas. Shabbos goes up, is counted, and does not interrupt the Shiva. So there was a machlaikas between the Bnei Yehuda and Bnei Glila. Judea and Galila is Galil. Where's the Galil? Up north. They said, well, why is Tzfas with Mashiach and why do they go together? Because it says that the Mashiach will come and Mizgala Ba'ala de Gola, which is Tzfas basically. So that's why Izgala de Malchum Mashiach Ba'ala de Gola. Anyway, so Bnei Glila, the people from Galil and the people from Judea, from Yehuda, had a machlokes. Hane'am, one of them said, Yesh Avelu b'Shabbos, that during Shabbos you do certain things of Avelos. Not everything. You cannot walk around and show that you are an Avel, but Betzina, like Tosis says right away, Dvarim shebetzina, things privately at home, certain things you don't do. Like at home, you wouldn't wear shoes, you wouldn't wear leather shoes, there wouldn't be any tashma shamita, there wouldn't be other things that you should not do. But publicly, you could do. One of the things was they used to wrap their heads with a tifas loish. They used to wrap their heads with a shawl. That thing, Lamashal, they say you have to take off during Shabbos. At home, you can do it, no one sees. But basically, accordingly, they said some of the things happen on Shabbos. Most of Avelos does not. V'hana'am, the ain't Avelos for Shabbos. Not even the Varim Shabbatim, not even the things that are private, you also don't do on Shabbos. Mandam is Avelos for Shabbos. Those that say that it is Avelos for Shabbos, what do they say? Where do they have proof? The Ktani, because it said in the Mishnah, Oila, that it's counted. Why would it be counted? Because there's Avelos for Shabbos. That's why he counted. If there's absolutely no Avelos, like Yontev, then it would be Mafsik. Then it wouldn't be counted. So that's basically said, because it says Oila, that the Shabbos is counted, it must be that there are certain halachas of Avelos that you do on Shabbos. Mandam, ain't Avelos Shabbos, the one that says that it is no Avelos Shabbos, the Ktane, ain't a Mafsek, because it says in the Mishnah that it's not Mafsik. And this is how he goes. If you would say that yes, there is a certain part of Avelos Shabbos, so then, what do you mean ain't a Mafsik? For sure ain't a Mafsik. What's the Chiddush? If there is Avelos in Shabbos, then it's counted. Then why does the Mishnah have to tell us, Avelos doesn't interrupt the Shabbos doesn't interrupt the Avelos? The fact that the Mishnah says Shabbos interrupts is coming to teach you, even though there's absolutely no Avelos in Shabbos, the Chiddush is that it's not Mafsik. So that's they look at the second part of the Mishnah. It says where it says Ein Mafsekas, and it says if you would think that is Avelus b'Shabbos, Hashta Avelus Nohaga. If Avelus is we do Avelus, Afsuk mi boila. Do I have to even say that it's not Mafsik? So therefore, because we say that it's not Mafsik, it's coming to tell you that there would have been a thought to be Mafsik. Why? Because you don't do anything of Avelus and Shabbos. So according to that second opinion, they would look at the hefsek. There's no hefsek on Avelos. So why does it say oila? Where it says that the Shabbos is counted. What is it counted for? If there's nothing, what is it counted for? So it says that the word oila, counting it, he didn't mean it in the literal term. He meant to bring it because soon we are going to mention the word oila in a different instance, and therefore he mentioned it here as well. Because in the end of the Mishnah, we're talking about Yontef, that Yontef is not counted. So I want to tell you that Shabbos is counted. You would think that Yontef, because Yontef is not counted, maybe Shabbos shouldn't be counted. So I'm letting you know Yontef, Shabbos is counted. Because in the Sefer, in the end of the Mishnah, we mention Oilam. Either the boy lemisna sefer einem oilam tanaresha oila. That's why in the Mishnah when it talks about Shabbos it says according to the other opinion it says that it is Avelos for Shabbos. In some instances there is certain things of Avelos to do on Shabbos. It says clearly we're not mafsek. And if there is Avelos, obviously it's not mafsek. What's the chiddush? Why do you have to tell us that? And it's the same answer. Because later on by Yontef we say that Yontef is mafsek, so we're coming to tell you that Shabbos is not mafsek. But it has nothing to do with whether it is or isn't Avelus, because there actually is certain parts of Avelus. So now the Gemara is going to discuss, the Gemara is going to ask, maybe this machloikas, whether there's Avelus on Shabbos, is not a machloikas of the Bnei Yehuda and Bnei Gol. Maybe it originates in a much earlier time. Maybe it originates at the machloikas of two Tanoim. But interesting story over here. If someone dies and it's the middle of he can't get it buried that day, the dead body is in his house. If it's laying in his house. He shouldn't eat in the same house. It's not nice. It's a bezoin. Let him go to a different house. If he doesn't have a different house to eat, he goes to if he himself does not have two homes, or two rooms, then he goes to a friend's place. If he lives isolated alone and doesn't have anywhere else to go, He goes and he makes a mechitza, a separation at the height of a sat tfachim. He doesn't have any materials, anything to make a mechitza with. He turns around, facing away from the dead body, and he eats. And now, with the eating itself, we don't eat like in the usual way. In the back in the days, they used to eat. They used to lay down flat, like we do Pesach. We don't do Pesach, but they used to do Pesach that showed chedus. So here we don't do that because we want to show that we are an oval. That person's oval. He doesn't lay down. He doesn't do a seba. Doesn't lay down to the side and eats. He doesn't eat meat or drink wine. Ve'ein mevadech, he doesn't make abdacha. Ve'ein mezamen, he doesn't make zimun with the three people. Ve'ein mevachen olaf, people don't make abdacha for him. Him mezamen and olaf, and people don't count him as part of the 3 for zimun, as part of the 10. Ve'ein mevadech, actually, there's a machlokes a little bit. What me'ein mevadech? What exactly are you not benching or benching? So Rashi in the Ksav Yoshan here on this all the way on the side and the right and the bottom, 3 lines on the bottom. But Rashi says. What does he not bench? Shum b'dacha. He doesn't make any b'dacha. Why? Because he has his dead body in front of him. He has an oinen, and oinen doesn't make any b'dachas. Shum b'dacha, the pot, the 3 lines in the bottom, the beginning of the line. Shum b'dacha, the pot of mitzvahs, cause man shmeisa mutal fadav. As long as the dead body is in front of him, he's totally part of the mitzvahs. The next Rashi says, ve'ein b'dacha. What does it mean? They don't make a b'dacha for him. So ve'ein mevadech, he doesn't make any b'dacha. When he comes to bench, he cannot do zimun, he cannot be the one that buys him a mention. And the opposite will be that people would sometimes make abdacha, and they would have everyone in mind. There is a way to do that. And there's one of the ways you can do a moitzi. And in this case, if he's an oinen, he has people sitting down for a meal, they cannot make a b'dacha because he has to be separate. He can't sit together with them in one party. And the same thing also with benching, even though he's not making the baisa, but people cannot include him as part of the 3 to make the baisa.
Similar to Tisha B'Av.
Exactly similar to Tisha B'Av. Tosfos goes back and forth and brings different shittas and different things. Whether it means not making a b'dacha, what it means making 10, back and forth. Whether mevadech and mezamen, it's actually in the same thing. Rashi says one is a b'dacha in the beginning, mezamen is b'dacha in the end. Some people in Tosfos want to say that it's the same thing. Mevadech shochan mishloi is both. It's a b'dacha and a zimun. So it's the same thing. Anyways, that doesn't make a difference. It is basically he has to sit separate. As long as his body is in front of him, he cannot bench with anyone, and he should not be part of the benching of someone else. From davening, from putting on tefillin, and all the mitzvahs that are written in Torah. But when it comes to Shabbos, if that happened on Shabbos and he has the body is still laying in front of him, meisef, he can lay down, he can eat like a king, v'oichel, and eat. He can eat meat and drink wine. He can bench, he can make a moitzi, other people can make a moitzi for him, other people can count him in for zimun, for benching. He's chayev he has to say shema, he has to daven, he has to put on tefillin. Yeah, good question, but it's meant basically because we just said it before. Technically he's chayev with tefillin, not in reality. Technically he would be chayev in tefillin, but chol mitzvah and all the mitzvah or it's a good question, or there is a shitta actually that you have to put on tefillin on Shabbos. There's a shitta in there's a machloikas. Yeah, there's a machloikas whether you put on tefillin on Shabbos.
Because he's adding everything. Because it says before that you're not allowed to put on.
Correct.
Correct. Says to take it out.
Okay. I had a teacher, and I'll tell you that didn't like all the side things. So it's like whatever it says here is here, and we're gonna make it work. He famously once complained to him that he wants to hear a pilpul shir, shoinim and achloinim and stutzach. He says no problem, I'll give a pilpul shir. He gave a shir and he starts talking. There's a dish and they ask a question and there's another dish and comes and asks back and the dish and this and this and this. Finishes the shir. The dish is Rashi and Tosfos. So basically that was the end. All right, so basically on Shabbos you can do all the mitzvahs. Comes it up on Gamliel and adds a little bit. Because he is chayiv to do all these that are mentioned, he's chayiv even more. What is he talking about? He's hinting something, he's not saying it. Zat the Gemara Rabbi Yochanan said he was speaking in a clean form. He didn't want to talk about it openly. What was he talking about? Tashmish Shamito Kavanayo. That the difference between Rabban Gamliel and the Tanakama is Tashmish Shamito. That according to Tanakama, everything you're allowed to do, everything open, everything that's open to the public, you're allowed to do on Shabbos. But when it comes to Dvarim Shebetzina, something that's hidden, Tashmish Shamito, that not. Rabban Gamliel differs and he says no. That Tashmish Shamito you could, and here would be machlekes. Some people would say you have avelus, some of it, which is Dvarim Shebetzina, things that are hidden at home, and that would be the Tanakama. Rabban Gamliel says no, there's absolutely no avelus. My love, is it not? But how come if you look at this is their machlekes, this is their argument. The mass of the Tanakama that said we have to do all these mitzvahs, but he does not mention Tashmish Shamito. He says yesh avelus b'Shabbos. There is a certain part of avelus in Shabbos, so you do everything that's public. You don't do. You act like a regular person, but the things betzino you have to do. Ma'asam and Abu says no, ain't avelus b'Shabbos, and that would be beautiful. So we have the two Tanoim are arguing, and we know that the Madoim have to follow the Tanoim. So these people in Yehuda went one day, in Bnei Yehuda, and Bnei Gal went according to another Tana, but it all worked according to different Tanoim. The Gemara says no. The one that Rabban Gamliel and the Tanakam we're talking about a whole different case. We're talking about an oinen. We're not talking about an oval. We're talking about someone that the dead body is in front of him. The halachas are different when a dead body is in front of him. It's not. You don't do certain things. The avelus is even on Shabbos is also stronger when you're an oinen. But the Gemara. Why you said the machlokes is whether there is avelus on Shabbos or not? Dilma maybe atkan leka'amal. Until here, the Tanakama didn't say. When we're talking about a case of an oinen, that's when the Tanakama says no tashmish shamito. But if it's a case of an oval, the Tanakama would agree. Here, the dead body is in front of him. No, here taka not tashmish shamito, but a regular oval could, unlike Rabban Gamliel. Ve'ad kan lekam Rabban Gamliel hasam nakat lechol avelus aleh. Av lechol avelus aleh hachinami. Maybe Rabban Gamliel also. The reason he says you can do tashmish because the opposite way. Rabban Gamliel says when the body is not buried, you don't start a velos technically. So there's no velos. So you can do whatever you want. But once a velos starts, Rabban Gamliel agrees with Tanakama that there's no tashmish shamita v'tzina on Shabbos. So basically, it's not proof, and you have these two. There's two cities two regions that did different. They had a different minhag. And therefore, at the end of the day, you do as the rabbi tells you. Sagt die Gemara weiter. On a side note, because this is talking about halachas, this is something that brings the halachas, as we always mentioned. But here, in Tosfos, there's so many different things. There's one line here that says that Rabbi Yitzchak says that today we could do beichas hamazon. Which is an interesting thing. What the halachas today are different, and obviously you have to open the halacha books of the day, the Shulchan Aruch, and see what the halachas tell you, but just a side point. Sadi Gemara weiter.
You do Birchas Hamazon by an oinen or do Birchas Hamazon
by avelus, which you don't really, because even like Tisha B'av you also don't do it. So it's the halacha evolved. I don't know exactly what the halacha is today. I don't think you make Birchas Hamazon today. Mezuman, yeah. I mean Birchas Hamazon, yeah, not Mezuman. Okay, Daf Chav Dalet Amud Aleph. By Bnei Rabbi Yochanan and Shmuel. Rabbi Yochanan asked a question to Shmuel. Shmuel was a Paisik. Shmuel was the one that says that the avelus is we go according to Mekel b'avelus. So what does it say? Yesh avelus b'Shabbos, ain't avelus b'Shabbos. Tell me, okay, just lay it down. Yes or no? So Shmuel is the Mekel. Amala ain't avelus b'Shabbos, no avelus b'Shabbos. So this it says right away. Boy Minei Rabbi Yochanan Shmuel, Miu Rabbi Yochanan, Lo Kibel Mishmuel. Rabbi Yochanan, even though Shmuel told him very clearly there's no avelus on Shabbos, he was not Mekabel. I disagree with him. Why does it say that? Why does it say that? Because the Tosfos that page before, it brings it up from the Gemara in Ksubas that Rabbi Yochanan Take Paskins, the first Tosfos on the Chav Gimel Al-Beis, that Rabbi Yochanan Paskins that Dvarim Shebetzino we don't do as an oval. The things that are quiet, hidden at home, private matters you don't do if you're an oval. So Yochanan, although he asked Shmuel for the Psak Halacha, which may have been for the public, he himself disagreed and he kept avelus on Shabbos, parts of avelus. Yasvi Rabbanan came to Rav Papa. Rabbanan came and sat in front of Rav Papa. Rav Papa was about 150 years after Shmuel. Rav Papa was in Pumbedisa and Shmuel was in Ada. So two different places and two very different times. So Rabbanan came from Rav Papa and told him, this is what we heard in the name of Shmuel. And obviously over the years, the thing that repeated could have gotten a little mixed up. So this is what the Rabbanan told him. It said like this: Mishmei Shmuel, in the name of Shmuel, Avel Sheshima Sha'avel that had relations attachment Shemita Mitase b'me'evle during his Avelus Chayav Misa. I'm talking about during Shiva Chayav Misa. He is worthy. No one is going to put him to Bezdin because it's not. It says it's not one of the things that are listed in Sanhedrin where a person gets killed. But Chayav Misa means that he is worthy to die. Ad kedekach, that's how strict it would be. And that he said in the name of Shmuel. So Amalei Rav Papa, so Rav Papa answered them. No, so also itma. First of all, number one, whatever you heard is not chayav misa. It says also. You're not allowed to, but no one says that you're getting the capital punishment over here. Umeshmei de Rabbi Yochanan itman. It's not the name of Shmuel. It's the name of Rabbi Yochanan. And now he tells them, maybe you heard something on the name of Shmuel. I'll tell you what you heard in the name of Shmuel. If you heard anything in the name of Shmuel, this is what you heard. Ovel an Ovel that did not grow his hair wild, and she did not rip his garment, didn't do clear, chayev misa. He should also, he's liable, he should die. Not that no one is going to kill him for it, but he should die. Where did he learn it from? From a pasuk, and he made a play a drush on the pasuk. What does the pasuk say? Shenema or Sheikhem, but the Kahanim, it says that Moshe told Ahan and his kids that something happened to you, your brothers got killed. However, you, the Sheikhem al Tiflo, do not let your hair grow wild, or Vigdeichem leSifoim, and do not rip your garments. And because if you don't, Loisamus, you won't die. But if you do, that's the musa, you will die. So he flipped it over for the regular folks. The regular folks, if they rip their garments, loy samusu. If they don't rip their garments, samusu. It's not a clear pasuk. The Meforshim say it's not a clear pasuk. It's not that pasuk doesn't say that. Pasuk speaks about the kahanim. And we're not going to be mechayev misa on a drush of a pasuk, but it says it's not that they're chayev misa. It's they're worthy of to receive the misa punishment, and we'll see a story. Amar my papa Tana ba'Avla Abasi. We learned in Avla Abasi. There's a masechta called Maseches Smachos, which is the Sagana, the opposite lashon of sadness. So over there's all the halachas. Technically, this is brought in the end of Nezikin, in the end of like after Baba Kamba Mitzvah, that say the Nezikin. There's a part of it in there. We don't have everything, and sometimes it's called Avla Abasi. And there's Avla Abasi over there. They learned the Abdaisat. Avil asl shamish mitas, and Avil is not allowed to have tashmish shamitiv me'evloi. Umayse be'echad, and it says now the Abbas, someone, there was a story with one person. Sheshimash mitas me'evloi. He did do it. V'shamta chazeim is giviyase, and pigs carried away. He did a disgusting chazer shemaisa. He was acting like a pig to use his own pleasures, and they took away his body. And Rashi says maybe not his entire body, only the evel. But in any case, the punishment was not that he died. The punishment was that he died in Misa Meshun, and his body wouldn't even go to Keva Yisrael to be buried like a Yid.
Obviously not talking about on Shabbos.
No.
There's a machlokes about it.
Yeah. Talking about Bechlal. Alma Shmuel. Hat Shmuel gesagt. Pachas Choiva Neta Lashus. Lashatevis. What's the Lashatevis? So Pachas you have to do, and Neta you could or could not do. And this is talking about Shabbos. So the mother Shus. The pay is for opening up the head, because they used to wrap their head in a shawl during the Avelus, and to open it up on Shabbos you had to. That was Choiva. And the piece of garment that you rip, you would put it back for Shabbos. Zikifa Samita, turning over the bed to the regular state, is Choiva, that you have to do on Shabbos, because that is public, that people see, or people in the house see, and that you have to live like a normal person on Shabbos during your Avelus, during the Shiva. However, in the Ilas HaSandal, putting on shoes, Tashmish Amita, and the chitzas daim v'glayim bechamin, and washing your hands and feet with warm water. Alvis il reshus, that is, you don't have to, you could. So here's basically Shmuel saying that Tashma Shemitah during Avelos is okay. In any case, so he says certain things you have to do on Shabbos. You have to publicly show that you're not being an oval, and the things that are private you could do, you could or could not do. Rav says, he says it's not that the shteva shouldn't be pachas, and not that it should be chaz, the bringing back the ripped garment and the turning over the bed. That you have to, but uncovering the head and the tashma shamita and washing your hands and feet and what was the other one? What's the nun? Nils the son putting on shoes. That you don't have to. You could or you don't have to. Why does Shmuel say? What's the reason for Shmuel that says that putting on shoes on Shabbos is you could, you don't have to? Usually, the things that show that you're an oval, you have to make sure that no one sees the oval. So there's got to be a reason why walking barefoot on Shabbos, according to Shmuel, does not show avelos. Zakta, what's the reason Shmuel says that walking barefoot on Shabbos is not avelos? The laf kula alma vida the sayim masane, because in those days not everyone wore shoes. So therefore, when you walking out of shoes, no one would think, oh, you're an oval. People think, oh, you maybe don't have shoes. So therefore, shoes is a shoes. You don't have to. But if that's the case, in that same token, that same cheshbon, so let him not uncover the head. Not everyone walks around bareheaded, even when they're not novel. So maybe he doesn't have to uncover his head. Let him say like Rav. Shmuel goes according to his reason. The Amar Shmuel call kerash eina b'shas chimum. When do you have to rip kliya? The kliya has to be ripped in a time when you're in deep grief. So when that deep grief passes, if you do kliya later, it's not considered eina kela. It's not considered kliya. And every wrapping of the head, it is not like the Shmeelim. Eino atifa is not considered a wrapping of the head. What is atifa Shmeelim? Machve Rab Nachman showed them what it is. At goiva the dikna till the height and the corners of the dikna of the beard, like the look in the Ben Chanal on the side. It's a second line of Ben Chanal on the side. Pirush atifa Shmeelim. The Amar Shmuel. What is that? What kind of wrapping of the head? Mechase sfamoy skenoi, he covers his mustache or his lips and his beard. Vechoitmoy, and his nose. B'mitznafto. So basically, he pulls his head this way and it pulls up this way. It looks like an Arab woman. That's basically what the Atifas Ishmaelin is. So that you only did as an oval. No one walked around. No normal person walks around like that. Only Arabs. So basically. And therefore he said that, yes, uncovering the head, you have to. Because you would be able to tell that is an oval because it's going covered, only the eyes are showing. But shoes, not everyone wears shoes. So Amar Rabbi Yaakov said the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Lo shanu ela she'en la min olim be'aglav. If you wrap your head around, but you're wearing shoes, everyone knows you're not an oval. So if you have wearing shoes, you don't have to undo your head, even if it's not Tifas Shmuel. Don't undo your head. His shoes show that you're not an oval. Stop here because so we got up here.
Thank you.